Hey guys, this is my first edition, my first episode of Instinct Comics in my unprofessional opinion. It's where I come in and I talk about independent comics to you guys. And it's just a chance to give back to the community, a chance to connect. And I see a lot of people spotlighting a lot of the mainstream comic books. So I really want to take a chance and take the people that want to give me a shot at doing an actual review for their indie comic book. And it's going to end up, I still got to get a feeling for all of this, but this is how we're going to go. And first up, without any further delay, is going to be a comic book that I felt really encapsulated a lot of the Sunday morning comic book feel from like a newspaper or whatever. And so I won't waste any of your time. I'm going to get into super massive hover biome. So you guys can see it here. As you can see, the artwork in it is super rad. What stood out to me just right away was actually the colors in this and the way that they chose the scheme. Um, so, really, just first off, I really wanted to say that the Supermassive Hover Biome, real quick, is created by Don Mancha the third and Emily Vlad. Emily does the artwork while Don has done the writing, and it's a dystopian slice of life comic. Um, my opening thoughts, basically, first impression, just right as I was just scrolling through, just like I was showing you guys here, is that I love the color scheme of this comic book. The artwork off the bat reminds me of Ed and Eddy meets Psychonauts meets Cow and Chicken. Just a lot of fun, really. Um, I will bring myself back in here. Uh, the story and the concept, it's not really a traditional story like a regular comic book. This would be more of a series of shorts, which I actually really appreciated. Is the idea interesting? Very much so. And it took me a second, I will admit, to really get kind of hooked. So it wasn't something that really got me right away, but it is a comic book that I actually grew as I was reading it to actually really, really enjoy. Um, does it feel original or familiar? It does kind of feel familiar, but in the best way. I quickly got to love like the banter between the characters and the different and distinguishing personalities. So basically, this is, like I said, a dystopian slice of life that's centered around three main female characters as they are, excuse me, just going through these little different shorts that are really entertaining. Some of them are super short, some of them are a few pages long, but all of them have turned out to be pretty entertaining. My favorite concept element is just I really enjoyed the randomness of the shorts. Each one in itself is unique. It has its own theme without feeling repetitious or worn thin. The weakest element I would have to say is that for a as a webtoon or something, I think this would have done really well just by itself. But for me personally, I would really have liked to have had like an introduction to the characters, like for Mork or Morgan or for Bird, just a quick introduction, maybe just like a character sheet, just that showed the three main characters and just gave you a little bit of something about them right up front. So that way, as you were diving into these shorts, you didn't have to warm up to the characters necessarily, but you would get a snapshot of who they are and then you would grow to love them even more. So out of that first section, I would say that I would give the overall concept and idea more like a 4-star rating, 4 out of 5. But as far as the writing and dialogue, I really have to say that the writing and dialogue for this did well. There's a lot of character that is driven by the dialogue, and I really grew to appreciate it. It did feel natural. The Each character had distinct voices, um, and the exposition did not feel forced at all. One of my favorite lines from the comic actually takes place between Morg and Bird when they are going over a scene where it says, excuse me, it isn't fair that cockroaches can live weeks without their heads, uh, but and we can't. And the other characters, what else would you want your body to do? And the reply was, I don't know, taxes. And it's that kind of like almost simplistic humor that exists. It's like a dumb, smart type of humor, like Idiocracy or something. Not quite that extreme, but there's different levels to how the comedy kind of takes place in the frames, in the panels and pages of the comic. So I definitely love that. Once I got to know the characters, it was really a blast. The pacing felt great for each story, and it definitely did not feel forced. Very refreshing for this style of comic. There weren't any clunky or distracting moments, actually, so I really would give, as far as the writing and dialogue of the book, a 5 star. Um, On to the next would be art and visual storytelling. Um, the can the story be followed visually? And to me, I think it actually really can. It's easily followed. All the expressions are there. Each scene is in itself unique and contained to that story, that or the short that it's telling. Um, it is supportive to the tone of the book. And again, I'll just show you here. Um, the color palette, the everything that kind of goes with it, it really just fits, right? And I won't go too much into things, but um, visual strengths outstanding and consistent. The art and character design is great. Um, the panels, the clarity, they're really done well. The visual strengths outstanding and consistent in the character design. Each one is unique, like I was saying. And I'll just kind of scroll through here so you can see. Um, Visual weaknesses, I really didn't have any. Just I really loved it. This page right here is probably one of my favorite. It's a full page spread where the character Morg is in front of the computer, completely just strung out from researching card decks to try and beat Bird at the game that Bird is just now learning, but that Morg is supposed to be an expert at. Um, so definitely, as far as the memorability of the panels and the pages, art and visual storytelling, I'm going to actually give that a 5 as well. Um, as far as the lettering and readability, was the lettering easy to read? For the most part, I think it was. All the lettering was crisp and clear. The bloom placement was strong. Did the lettering pull me out of the experience? A little bit, and that only existed for me when there was the narrative type of word balloons that are there. I would have liked it to be a little bit more distinctive from the speech balloons because it is heavy in dialogue. Um, but for the vibe of the comic, nothing felt really out of place. Just like I said, just a couple of times where I felt the narrative bubbles needed more distinction from the speech bubbles. That brought me down to that 4 rating in the lettering and readability rating. Overall execution, I feel like this comic book definitely feels polished. The pacing is strong. All the creative elements actually really work together. It didn't feel rushed at all, and the overall strengths is the visuals coupled with the strength of the dialogue for each character, making this an outstanding and an outlier in similar comics like this that I have read. Overall weakness, like I said, the only thing that I could really pull out is the speech bubbles. So definitely a 4.5. So um, going for out of the 5-point system for each one of those sections, I would go ahead and give the story and concept a 4 out of 5, writing and dialogue a 5 out of 5, art and visual storytelling again 5 out of 5, lettering, readability 4 out of 5, overall execution of 5 out of 5, giving it a total of 23 out of 25. Now that is the technical side of the rating for the comic, but the important question is, forget the score for a second, because there are always rule breakers that actually have really successful comics and really polished looking comics that just don't carry, right? Well, I guess in the end, the question is, would I spend money on this comic? Right up front, maybe I wouldn't have, just because by nature it probably wouldn't be something that I would have gravitated by it to me. I feel like my oldest son, his partner, would definitely gravitate towards this because of the artwork right off the bat, the cover art, the way that everything looks is really, really appealing. Like I said, just to show you guys again, the cover to Supermassive Hover Biome, it's definitely stylized. It definitely pulls people in that would like that type of visual for the book, right? Um, but having read it, I actually would definitely go in for a volume 2. I would definitely recommend this for anybody that likes a slice of life or wants to be a little bit nostalgic with the Sunday strip comics type of thing. Um, so if you'd like something slightly nostalgic, reminiscent of the absolute best Sunday comic experiences, then this is a must have. It might have taken me a short or two to really settle in, but coming off of horror and action comics, I mean, that's probably to be expected. And this will definitely have me coming back for the next one. So, in my closing thoughts, is this a page turner or is it a page burner? So, again, page turner or page burner. I'm going to tell you guys it's a page burner. I take that back. A page turner. It's fun. It's quirky. The characters are lovable in their ways. I love the cynical side of some of the characters. I love the simplicity of the others. But definitely, I would give Supermassive Hover Biome by Mancha and Vlad a thumbs up. I would definitely recommend it. And that is my unprofessional opinion. If you guys have a comic that you would like me to review, if you have an active campaign or something that you would like me to take a look at, I do have a form for people to submit. I've had a couple of people interested, and once you fill out that, I go through a short screening process, and based on what's going on, where you're at in the campaigns, anything like that, if you're just interested in getting a real view, like a real breakdown of your comic or whatever that you're making, I'm interested, as long as you're okay with me having my unprofessional opinion, good or bad. I won't pull any punches. I'm gonna tell you like it is. So, breaking off with episode number 1 of my In My Unprofessional Opinion, with such a strong comic, actually is really really more than I expected, but I'm glad that I get to come out of the gate with really strong positives, guys. So like I said, one more time, it is Supermassive Hover Biome, and it is available. Let me go ahead and pull it up here so I can actually tell you. Hopefully I can put it in the show notes afterwards. It is available at www.revengeaudit.com. REVENGEAUDIT.com. They have a couple of different titles there. But definitely, guys, if you're into a dystopian slice of life comic about these three lovely ladies, then give it a shot. Once again, that's Supermassive Hover Biome. Check it out. And that is my unofficial opinion.